Welcome to another edition of the Food Systems podcast, brought to you by the Forum for the Future of Agriculture. I'm Alex Turk, and I'm delighted to be able to catch up with Emmanuelle Mikosz, Emma, who is the newly appointed Director General of the Forum. So Emma, welcome and congratulations.
Welcome to you also, Alex. I'm very happy to be here with you, especially that we know each other since many, many years.
We do. Recognizable face, and lovely to have you on the podcast. Now, you've been involved with the Forum, as we're saying, for many years as a project director. You're now taking up the reins from Mark Titterington, who's been on this podcast recently. So what will the change mean for the Forum?
I would say it will be an evolution, not a revolution. It's also important to say that Mark is staying with us now as a member of Advisory Council. So we have he's joining Geneviève Pons, Anne Tutwiler, and Tassos Chaniotis in that role. So it's a very knowledgeable network leading us on the strategic points we have to tackle within the next months. Of course, it's also using the expertise and the experience of our chairman, actual one, Janusz Potocznik, but also the previous one, Franz Fischler. So yes, I would say a lot of things to take into account when building the strategic agenda and the next steps for the forum. Yes.
So you also, of course, you've got the diversity of inputs from the partners. You've got founding partners, and also you've widened it to the strategic partners, supporting partners. I know you're always looking for more support as well.
That's true. I would say it's a normal evolution because we really would like to cover the entire food value chain within our supporting and strategic partners. But all that is due to the fact that we have the co-founders partners who had that idea, to put the forum alive almost 20 years ago now. So here a huge thank you for the continuous support also for next year's from the European Landowners Organization and Syngenta. All the strategic partners we have now on board with us, which are TNC, IUCN, NABU, and Cargill. Of course, all the supporting partners too, and that's why we're also working on a daily basis to grow that network. But all of that wouldn't be possible without a great team we have, which is making the forum. So also you coming, every year to the big annual conference in Brussels, our great moderators of this big event. So Rose O'Donovan and Stephen Sacker. But on daily basis, people like, Joanne, Kia, Walran, Ian, my former colleague, Caroline Mar. So yeah, all of that is possible because we have those great people on board with us.
Well, when we spoke to Mark, he said the forum was in great hands, that there is, of course, an experienced in-house team, as you've just mentioned, and the Advisory Council active members, and that includes Mark, as you said, which means that joined up plans can be actioned. Because as we discussed with him, the pace of change to develop a more sustainable food and agriculture system does need to accelerate. And as he said, there is still so much more to do. And so we should talk about lots of the activities that are planned in addition to the annual conference, because I know there is an in-person 2-day event in Brussels coming up in November. That's the Market Outlook workshop, where the latest OECD FAO report will be presented. And so most viewers and listeners will know that that's the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, representing 38 countries, together with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN. So Emma, why should people attend, and what can they expect to hear?
Starting by why they should attend, because we're really now in the middle of the discussion of the next budget for the European Union and the budget for the Common Agriculture Policy, the CAP itself. So of course, keeping an eye on what's going on the global markets, it's key to understand also what we can do with our own budgets and our own agriculture policy. So that's why all kinds of implications linked to arable crops, livestock, environmental footprint, policy implications linked to that. That will be what we'll be covering during those 2 days. So if you would like to know more about it and to read what it's foreseen for the next 10 years' time, which are crucial in all the debates, that's really the moment to come in person to Brussels and to be with us during those 2 days.
So, of course, it will be the latest report that will cover from 2025, as you say, through the decade to 2034, setting the scene for the decade. And it can really add value, can't it, to bring the kind of caliber of people that you will bring together in the room with forward-looking approaches, views, and potential solutions.
Exactly. It's also a moment to present other reports like the one done by the Joint Research Center. It's the moment to use the knowledge of the IASA, which is gathering economies dealing with agriculture and environmental topics. So we really want to bring an additional knowledge, the economic discussions, which are so crucial also when you do speak about access to money and how to spend the money in the best way, because, there is only an envelope we know, and we need to do it in the best possible way. It's also showing and trying to find some answers to the complexities and the trade-offs we need to put if we want to finalize this transition towards sustainable and resilient food systems, which are so needed now.
And you have lots of different speakers, experts. I know that you've got different chairs for the different days, so they're going to bring together all of those wide views and showcase expertise.
That's exact, and we will be communicating around that for the next month. Yeah, we are having members of the European Parliament, of the Committee of the Regions, representative of different DGs from the European Commission, and then, of course, an amazing set of experts dealing with those topics, following the associations and the topic of the panel. So we do hope to see you all coming and attending that event on the 6th and 7th of November.
So it's clear that Forum's really increased its scope with these regular events, also focusing on different regions. The latest was Denmark in June, and I know there was a regional event in Copenhagen prior to the Danish presidency of the EU Council. And these events are held between each annual forum, as well as the workshops resulting in publications, because I know you now bring together the main topics into one collective document. So what can we expect in the coming weeks and months before the next conference?
We certainly promise to keep you busy. So a lot of additional events and also reports to discover with us. So we will be planning now the next event, which will take place in Ireland, because as you mentioned, the EU Council presidency, we are trying also to link our activities to the countries which will be holding the presidency. That's why we're already planning an event in June in Ireland, because agriculture and environment will be very high on their agenda. That's the same with Lithuania, so just to announce for the events for 2026. But also we have finalized with our partners a long 6 months work, internal one, and we will be now presenting that. So on the perspectives on financing the transition, we are very, I would say, happy to put that on as a report, to disseminate that and to share that with our network, because we do believe that we are tackling with a lot of topics which will bring us, also to closer to the concrete solutions we have to offer when we are speaking about financing the transition to those more sustainable.
And though the scope of those topics is really wide, isn't it? So, for example, I know you had innovation, AI, and digitization as a topic recently.
Yes, also. So, of course, innovation, access to innovation, different innovations, we do understand what it's needed to bring it closer to our food value chain, to the farmers. What kind of money do we need? What kind of collaboration between public and private sectors is needed to implement it? That's the topics we like to cover, because we have this wide range of different partners and network. This is why we will be also focusing now on topics like nature credits, benchmarking. So just to announce some topics to come since October, November, and for the next 12 months.
And some of the tech and AI solutions, of course, Microsoft, for example, is a tech partner of the forum. You have ongoing work with GIFP, so that's the Global Forum for Farm Policy and Innovation. There's been some common ground brought together in a report there, I understand.
it's a very important collaboration for us too, because of course the expertise of the forum lies within Europe. But in this divided world, it's so important also to stay in touch with like-minded organizations. So we're also delighted to have partners from US, Australia, and Canada. And that's why we will be also publishing by next week a report on some ideas we're putting together on innovation and potential collaboration, because we're also having a workshop organized in Washington, D.C. on the 7th of October. So yeah, plenty of topics to be discussed.
And of course, that opening up the dialogue on the way forward and taking it wider than Europe, as you say, I mean, that's very much a core strategic priority of the forum, isn't it? It's part of the playbook, the DNA of the forum as it's evolved over, as you say, almost 2 decades now.
The point is that we are really seeing that it's a very needed place to discuss, to be a little bit maybe provocative, but also to try to find common ground. So we don't need to agree on everything. That's not the point of the forum per se. The point is try to find common solutions, to identify obstacles, and to see how by case studies, best practices, the collaboration, the trust we're building within the forum partners, and also the network, how we can really propose some concrete solution, especially now when the European Commission and the Council is asking what kind of concrete solutions we can put on the table to solve the issue of the budget, the common agriculture policy. So we are trying to bring that through our reports, our events, and the discussions.
I think your voice, again, it's become louder, hasn't it, over the years? And case studies have also, I know, having attended the annual forum, they're always really interesting to hear. And we'll have more of those. I mean, so I know you're going to be really busy between now and year end, but of course we are talking about the forum. It will be coming up in April. What can you tell us about plans for that? And you've mentioned a little bit about the year ahead. So 2026, Emma, tell us all about it. Tell us more. Tell us about the forum, the 18th forum it will be.
So we will really keep you busy with like smaller events, publications, more podcasts, newsletters. So don't forget to follow us, to read us, and to be involved in what we're doing. And especially put the 14th of April in your calendars, because that's the day of our annual conference next year. Of course, CEP and I would say basic discussions around that topic will be also present during that day. But as always, we are trying to to think out of the box, to bring something which is really speaking about the future of agriculture and environment. So we will be announcing that in the coming weeks and months, to see you in person and to follow us online on the 14th of April.
Well, we talked about your involvement with the forum as a project director, being part of that very experienced team that's been organising the forum for many years now. And I know you're also chief editor of Countryside, a publication from one of the forum's founding partners, the European Landowners Organisation. So can I end by asking you what the role with the forum means for you personally? And Emma, what drives you?
I would say this amazing capacity and possibility to work with people which are forming the forum, and the experts and the people we are meeting when we are organizing our events, writing our reports. It's coming from like farming community, environmental community, researchers, people you're meeting, and they're telling you their life stories because they've tried to do something in a different way and it's working, or it's not working, but they're still having this energy to go for new solutions, to put nature and to produce food and to deal with forestry. So that's really something which is, giving you this positive energy to continue, because there are not easy topics, agriculture and environment. Very often we are seeing that it's difficult to put sometimes the representatives speaking for those sectors in one room, and it can be very difficult to have some discussions, because yes, that's very emotional, and because agriculture and food are our daily needs, and with climate change and with so many impacts, this is not always obvious as to find common grounds. But coming from a cultural environment, and I would say being brought in both France and Poland, so representing and trying to understand the Western and the Eastern cultures. I think that the need to find common grounds, collaboration, it's what drives me on daily basis, which is especially important in those times we are now living in. There's a lot of of things happening on our borders, so it's even more important to defend and to speak for agriculture and environment altogether.
Well, thank you so much, Emma. Thank you for fresh perspectives that you say you will bring. Thank you for the energy that you'll bring to it. On behalf of the forum, we all wish you every success in your role. So good luck with the November event. And of course, as you said, the annual conference, it is the 14th of April 2026. See you at the Square in Brussels.
Thank you very much, and hope to see you in person for our next events.
Thank you so much, Emma.
Thank you. Bye.
You've been listening to another edition of the Food Systems Podcast, brought to you by the Forum for the Future of Agriculture. It's been a pleasure having you with us, and please do join us again next time.